formalities at the beginning as we used to, which is good. Well, Chairman Payne is delayed, so I will be sharing here today. I want to thank all of our witnesses for being here. It's kind of an unusual thing. Haven't been on the committee a long time and observed these hearings, but I haven't seen too many times when rail labor, railroad shippers, and Amtrak are all raising similar concerns about the way the freight rail industry is operating. And to say that I'm concerned and share their concerns is an understatement. The STB, Surface Transportation Board, is heavily focused on ensuring the economic vitality of the railroads when it should be supporting a balanced national freight rail system that serves its customers well. 42 years after Staggers, at that point, the freight industry was in very dire straits. 27 years after Congress replaced the ICC, Interstate Commerce Commission, with the Surface Transportation Board, the balance of power has swung too far. Wall Street is destroying the freight rail industry, as they are many other industries in the United States of America, as they did when they put pressure on Boeing, and we ended up with horrible tragedies. I used to say, well, we have the greatest freight network in the world, and it's not, and it can be and not be incompatible with a decent passenger rail network. Unfortunately, the state of the freight rail industry is deteriorating, all after the model of the not mourned Hunter Harrison, who came up with the idea of precision scheduled railroading, i.e., just look at the bottom line, not the efficiency for your shippers, not the safety of your railroad, and it has spread like a disease through the industry since he corrupted CSX. It's very sad. I mean, you can't just infinitely, increase your quarterly profits with ever-decreasing operating ratios. So far, freight rail has laid off nearly 1/3 of their workforce since 2015. They've parked locomotives, closed rail yards, causing a number of shippers to temporarily close plants and facilities due to erratic rail service. The rail workforce strains under pressures to do more with less. Shrunken employee count continues to unreliable shipper service, worker fatigue, low morale. At the same time, the investors on Wall Street have demanded stock buybacks, nonstop returns on investment. Pandemic has exacerbated the effects of pressure that began years ago to cut. Now, after years of shrinking footprints and workforce, Class 1s find they have cut too far. They're reopening facilities they closed to save costs and desperately trying to rehire workers who have seen the industry change before their eyes. The Class 1s left themselves so little cushion have been unable to adjust for winter in Chicago, flooding in the Midwest, Southeast, wildfires in the West. Weather events like these happen every year. They're getting worse due to climate change, and yet they are consistently used as an excuse for degrading service. Our national policy to reduce the transport sector's carbon emissions cannot be achieved if the freight railroads are cutting service to less lucrative shippers. We need the freight railroads to be serving more customers at a time when the overall volume of goods transported in the country is skyrocketing. Railroads consistently tell us how if 25% of the truck traffic moving at 750 miles went by rail, it said greenhouse gas emissions. I agree with that goal. We've all seen the ads on television. They are more efficient, but you can't be part of the solution if you're following just the stock ticker price and the pressures of Wall Street. According to the Surface Transportation Board, outside of coal, the railroads have lost market share to trucks for the past 15 years. They're cherry-picking only the most profitable routes, working to make the less profitable routes as unappealing as possible, and forcing that freight to trucks. I've spent my concern raising concerns about Wall Street and its attack on American industry and American workers. Unfortunately, now it has come to freight rail. I want to have a healthy and the best, most robust freight rail market in the world, keeping trucks off the road. And I do want to have a viable passenger rail network. These two things do not need to be incompatible. And I believe the Surface Transportation Board is going to play a very key role in moving us in that direction. With that, I yield back the balance of my time, and I would now recognize Ranking Member Crawford's opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you